Here at Notes by Boo, we're going to be talking about things that I'm thinking about, things that I want to externalize and want to share with the internet. Today, we're going to be talking about palindromic numbers and how palindromic numbers are spoken about in scripture. Not directly, very, very indirectly, but the properties that exist in palindromic numbers, you find them in scripture. And let's go. So if you do not know what a palindromic number is, this is a palindromic numbers. Here are a few. So 121 is a palindromic number. 131 is a palindromic number. 0 is a palindromic number, even 1. But you might be wondering, but what is a palindromic number? A palindromic number is a number when you flip it across the vertical axis, it remains the same. And I thought, okay, the only reason why I even started thinking about this is because I've been seeing a palindromic number for the past year and 7 months. I've been like, why is this number following me everywhere? And I thought, is there a name for a number like this? And lo and behold, there is, like I said, palindromic number. Okay, let's get into these properties that I want to share, which are found in scripture. So in palindromic numbers, this is not really a property that is expressed in the one YouTube video I watched and reading a tiny bit off of Wikipedia. But I know that's not enough, but please give me some grace. So in my understanding, at least, a palindromic number seems to be perfect, right? You're flipping this number across the vertical axis and it just remains the same. Nothing about this number changes, right? When we're talking about a number like 121, yes, you could shuffle the numbers around and it could be different, but in this case, we're just talking about flipping the number across the vertical axis. And I thought, okay, this number expresses a sense of completion. And I thought, we have seen something like that in scripture, right? For example, it is theorized, right? It is theorized, but I will not use this theory in my example, but I'll just say people theorized that Jesus died at the age of 33, but that's not what I'm concerned about. What I'm concerned about is that Jesus was on the cross for 3 hours before he died.
I do have to confess that I made a very huge mistake. Jesus was on the cross for 6 hours. Now I will say this. I have no cooking clue why I said three, because even when I said three, there was something in me that was like, no, man, but I don't think it's three. I think it was just the rush of the moment, and I was just so excited to share all of this. But in Matthew, I mean, in Mark 15, we can see Mark 15:25, it says that, it was in the third hour when they crucified him. And then we can see in the sixth hour to the ninth hour, there was darkness over the whole land. And then at the ninth hour, that's when Jesus cries out, Ali, Ali, lama sabachthani, right? Which means, my God, why have you forsaken me? And I just thought to highlight something that I realized when I was reading the scripture again, that it's so interesting that we have these two intervals of the 3 hour periods, right? In from the third hour to the sixth hour, we can see that it's this discussion. Jesus is having this discussion with the thieves that are on the cross, right? And I need to study more on that because I feel like this is deep, right? Because also it's the three of them that are there, right? It's Jesus, the thief on his left, and the thief on his right. That's interesting, right? And then we also have from the sixth hour to the ninth hour, the darkness descending over the world, right? Um Essentially, I feel like that is an expression of Jesus taking upon sin, right? And then at the ninth hour, that's when Jesus dies. But what I find interesting is that there's only two intervals of three, right? We have three, four, five, six, and then seven, eight, nine, right? That's only six, right? So that means it's incomplete, right? I don't know if this makes sense, but there's this sense of incompletion because it's just those two threes, right? The final three is fulfilled. Completion actually happens when Jesus raises from the dead. Now, I need more evidence to back me up on this speculation that I'm making. This is all based off of my thinking. Like, I haven't studied this deeply. Notes by Boo is just a place where I ramble about stuff, but I'm definitely going to go back and study this. So, back to the vid.
He died and he was asleep in the tomb for those 3 hours. 3 days, and he rose again on the third day, right? We see that pattern of 3 and 3. And I thought, that is quite fascinating because this number, in a sense, is representing some sort of completion, right? Some sort of mission that has been completed. And this is all speculation. Please do not crucify me, please. But this is how I understand, like, palindromic numbers, that palindromic numbers express the sense of completion or they symbolize something greater. So with the same example, we can see that how the number 3 or the reoccurrence of 3 is expressing that this event that's taking a place is a symbol of something greater, right? What we might be seeing right now or in front of our eyes in the natural is not just this thing we're seeing in the natural, it actually has greater importance. And another property that we find in palindromic numbers. So the base system that we currently use for our numbers is base 10 system. I will show you what I mean by that. Oh, I don't think you can see that. Okay, let me not even try to show you. So base 10 system essentially means if I write the number 100, right? The number 100. This is 10 to the 0. This is 10 to the 1. This is 10 to the 2, right? So that means that this is the 10th place of this number is 0. So we know that anything to the power of 0 is 1, right? So it's like in the, yeah. And then we, and then we have 10 to the 1. So this is in the 10th place. Oh yeah, this is in the 1's place. This is in the 10th place. This is in the 100th place. I hope that makes sense. Let's go. And this is because it's in the base 10 system. A lot of people are familiar with the base 1 system, which is binary, meaning that the only numbers that exist is 0 and 1, right? So if you wanted to write 100 in binary, we could, but I'm not gonna do that right now because it's gonna be a long process. It's gonna make the video long, and I don't want to make the video long. So that's that, right? That is what it is. And okay, and in that property of base system, a number can be secretly palindromic in another base, right? What does this say about scripture? There's a verse, which I will post, which says that God works everything for the good of those who love him, right? So even if you do, let's say you did not know him, or you do something that was not right? And you do that thing that was not right when you did not know him, or you experienced something that was bad, and it really affected you very badly and gave you trauma. And when you met Jesus, that was like a testament of how God like restored you from whatever trauma you had or the bad experience that you had. That can be, in a sense, palindromic, right? Because he switches what was a bad thing into a testimony to encourage others to believe in God, right? And a testimony that there can be restoration after bad things have happened. The video is becoming long. I don't think I can even post this on Instagram. Actually, it doesn't matter if I cannot post this on Instagram because we'll post it on YouTube also. So I was talking about how God can use bad things for good, right? And because there is another scripture. Let me just get to my notes real quickity. So in Genesis 50. I'm sorry. I lost my notes. Okay. Oopsie daisy, where is the Maisie? Aliza Basie, yeah, in Genesis 50 verse 20, it talks about how I'm paraphrasing here, but what the enemy meant for evil, God turns into good. And we see that in the whole idea of there being a base system, right? And in my understanding, when we try and extrapolate base system to what I'm talking about, which is God using bad things for good, or what's the enemy meant for evil, God turns it for good. This could be realm, right? Or the point of time in which you're in, right? So for example, let's say in that point in time, something bad happens, but God has already coded in your life that when you reach a particular point in your life, meaning when you reconcile with him or you get closer to him again, he is able to take whatever circumstance you were in and use it as a testimony, right? And use it as something you can reflect back on and be like, wow, like God really changed my life. God really did something good out of this bad situation, right? When I thought all hope was lost, God transformed that situation and actually made me realize how bigger he is than my circumstance, how greater he is than these bad things that have happened in my life, that he is good and that he will always do everything. He will always work everything for my good. And I just thought that was cool because there is a correlation there. I'm not crazy, right? Okay. So that's one property that I thought was just amazing, right? And we can see that in scripture, it talks about how, I'm also paraphrasing here, but how everything was created by him, for him, and through him. We can see this in Colossians 1, verse 16 to 17. And we also see this in Romans 11, verse 36, right? And then we have non-palindromic numbers, which produce a palindrome. But these non-palindromic numbers, it has to be in palindromic bases. Palindromic. I hope this one is a palindromic. Excuse me. I think it is a palindromic cube, but I might be mistaken. Let me just check my other note for some confirmation. Yes, it's a palindromic cube. In a palindromic cube, there's the number 2201 that when you cube that number, it does not give you, that number, although it is not a palindrome, it gives you a palindrome. And I think that is cool, but it goes back to what I was talking about, how what the enemy might have meant for evil, God will turn it for good, right? So when Eve ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, that was something that was bad, right? But God had already predestined before the foundations of the world, right? That his son would be slain, right? That his son will be slain. And I just thought that is very cool because we can see this, not recoding, but this recoding that although this is a bad thing, something good is going to come out of this bad thing. Same thing as when Jesus died, the disciples were like, oh no. But then when he rose, they were like, glory. And it's that kind of thing, that his death might have seemed like the end, but it was just the beginning of something beautiful. Just the beginning of him saying, look, I have conquered death. I have conquered death. And death shall no longer reign over you. You will have authority over sin. Let's go to Jesus for that. Let's go. Okay, let me calm down, right? And we see in other instances, like in the 7 trumpets, in the 7 bowls, in the 7 seals, that these numbers 7, right, symbol represents completion. We even see it in creation, that the number 7th, on the 7th day, God rested from all his work, right? Shows completion of creation. All that he has done reaches this resolution of completion. And in the end, it will be the same thing, right? We also see this pattern, but it's these 3 sevens that after, right? I think it is after the bowls, we see that judgment will be completed, and that will be the beginning of something new, right? The new Jerusalem, the new earth and heaven. And I just thought that is so cool that I could tie in palindromic numbers to like scripture, but also not by even my own might. Like I couldn't care less, but for some weird reason I had a prompting. And God is really in everything. He is really in everything. And if we pay attention closely, like he's a very intelligent okay, sorry, I'm thinking, but he's so intelligent that even these abstract ideas, God shows his hand in these things. Like, wow, I just thought that was cool. And that's all really that I wanted to talk about in palindromic numbers. I hope you enjoyed this video. And I know it was a bit movie and jittery, but please, I hope that was good. If you really enjoyed, be back for another Notes by Boo. And hopefully I will post some more of this, but I will. No, hopefully I will see y'all later, and God bless you.